I was a member of the United States Committee on Public Information, and I worked with the committee to make the world safe for democracy. And I found that ideas were weapons and were even more effective than bullets.
So you taught the first course in public relations and wrote the first
book.
textbook in public relations. Is that concept, engineering of public consent, that's your concept.
In a democratic society like our own, the consent of the public is basic to anyone's meeting his or her social goals. And so we worked out the engineering of consent, which applies to any social goal, but people who don't have social goals, unfortunately, can also employ it. But we depend upon a democratic public that theoretically and practically wants to be led to where it wants to go.
What's going on, guys? We back again with another video. Choo choo.
Bye bye.
And today we are covering this montage by Chad O. Jackson and the Cutting Through the Culture cast. These guys, as we said in a couple of other videos, this man right here, Chad O. Jackson, you need to be following. You need to be following them and the whole cutting through the culture people. That these folks, facts, super based, Christian, the whole works. I love their content. Consume it every day. It's amazing. And they black. So definitely check them out. But we're gonna go through the montage. They have some really good montages in the beginnings of their podcast every week.
And this episode is about how the media exploits race.
Mm-hmm.
Great montage.
Led to where it wants to go.
Private planes dropping explosives. The first and only domestic aerial assault of its kind on an American city here in Tulsa. The Greenwood newspaper publisher A.J. Smitherman, penned a poem of what he heard and felt that night.
Wait, did he say that the planes dropped bombs on Tulsa?
Publisher A.J. Smith, and only domestic aerial assault of its kind on an American city here in Tulsa. The Greenwood newspaper publisher A.J. Smitherman, penned a poem of what he heard and felt that night. And here's the poem. He said, kill them, burn them, set the pace, teach them how to keep their place. Reign of murder, theft, and plunder was the order of the night.
Hard.
That's what he remembers in the poem that he wrote. 10,000 people were left destitute and homeless, placed in internment camps. As I was told today, they were told, don't you mention you were ever in a camp, or we'll come and get you. This was not a riot. This was a massacre.
This is race baiting at its finest.
Why is he sitting up there talking about this?
On NBC. Race baiting.
Out of all the things that he be talking about, he's talking about some old ass shit.
Right. So he came to Tulsa, Oklahoma to race bait. He came to Tulsa, Oklahoma to race bait.
That's all that he thinks y'all are good for.
Picture is the early 50s in the United States.
Good old Dave Chappelle.
This 14-year-old boy goes down from Chicago to Mississippi. He'd never been to Mississippi. And before he went, his mother said to him, very pointedly, she said, if a white man looks you in your eyes in Mississippi, look away. And I don't know what you know about black people from Chicago, but they're not a scared people. He was in front of a convenience store, hanging out with his cousins, having a good time, and a white woman walked out of the store, and he thought she was pretty, and he said, bye, baby, not realizing that he had just made a fatal mistake. He was never seen alive again. His name was Emmett Till. And lucky for everybody in America, his mother.
What? Why are we talking about this? I thought he was a comedian.
Yeah, he took his time to politically educate y'all on the same story that everybody in America's heard.
Sounds like Emmett Till should have listened to his mammy. He decided
His
he didn't
mama
want to.
told him right from wrong.
He decided he didn't want to.
Now, granted, he didn't deserve to lose his life,
Should have listened to
but-
your mom.
but you know,
Your parents are set for you for a reason.
listen to your parents, kids,
It's
and
a cautionary tale.
and stop reminiscing on Emmett Till, bro.
Was a gangster. She said, leave my son's casket open. She said, the world needs to see what they did to my baby. And if our civil rights movement was a car, this boy's dead body was premium gas. This was a very definitive moment in American history where every thinking and feeling person was like, ugh, we gotta do better than this.
His mom sold him to the civil rights movement. She sold her son's legacy to the communists, and they still making money off of that,
Yep.
as we see right here.
Yep. It's a cash cow, and y'all still talking about it. Still, everybody know about Emmett Till. They teach Emmett Till. We live on Emmett Till Road.
We live on King Drive and Emmett.
Right. So like we on arguably the most communist block in Chicago, and we not sitting here thinking about Emmett Till. You know, so on the street signs, you got the green signs, which is the actual names of the street, like 71st and and all the other stuff. The roads or the road names are in brown, right under the actual street sign. So it's not the official name. They just put it there to keep you in hell, keep you remembering it all the time. And ain't nobody even looking at that stuff. You notice it once, and then after that, you don't think about it ever again. But they got it there.
The
Mark.
reason the world saw what Mrs. Till Mobley saw was because another hero in this story, the black press. Oh, I'm serious. Jet Magazine, the Chicago Defender, and other newspapers and radio announcers who told the story were unflinching in the bravery with which they told that story, making sure America saw what they saw. She said, let the people see what I've seen. Let the people see what I have seen.
The funny thing about this, Joe Biden would agree that he should have been killed for that. Joe Biden is a racist.
Bro, all the white people in the audience, ain't nobody calling him racist.
Joe Biden is an actual racist, and he was alive during that time. He is an actual racist,
And Joe Biden said we ain't black, so.
and he's sitting up there telling y'all, this can happen to you if we don't fight racism. The irony, bro.
My God. But today, on what we've been, would have been Emmett's 82nd birthday, we had another chance.
They've been talking about this for 70 plus years.
I wonder how many birthdays they finna let him get, like.
Oh,
It's gonna keep going up.
It's gonna keep going. They're gonna be like, he would have been 130.
Because he already, like, creeping towards unreasonably old.
Right.
I don't know how old people tend to live.
That's a great point. That just shows how long they've been milking this. He said this would have been his 80-something birthday. That's pretty old. Now, I'm not saying that the kid would have still been alive today, but to make it that old is, pretty remarkable. Consider he lived in Chicago. If he lived in Chicago, where, Southside Chicago, that's where most of the black people is, there's only horrible food here. The life expectancy over here is not great. It's not great. He would have been 80-something. Now we get into the land of if he would have even still been alive.
And the thing is, they're going to do this with Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
They're going to be doing this with Trayvon Martin. He's only been like 10 years, but they're going to be doing this until 2080.
They'll be milking it indefinitely. Indefinitely.
Just think about that. With Trayvon Martin, they're literally going to be doing this until 2080 and beyond.
Yep.
That's what it sounds like right now
Yep.
with Emmett Till. It's crazy.
You get whenever, especially a young black kid gets killed, you got at least 80 years to talk about it. You got an 80-year grace period until it gets ridiculous to keep bringing it up. But they still talking about slavery. They still can talk about what happened, but him bringing up the birthday just put it into perspective of how ridiculous it is to keep talking about it, considering the kid would have been 80. He's not a kid no more. He would have been, he's up there with Joe Biden age.
Chapter of the story of remembrance and healing. We screened the movie Till at the White House. Today we join together.
Think about that. Racist Joe Biden watching the Emmett Till movie. He watching that kid get beat up and murdered and stuff on 4K. He probably enjoyed every second of it.
Why
But
are you showing it at the White House?
because they just want to traumatize you. They want to keep traumatizing the blacks and keep y'all angry.
They steady making Emmett Till movies. Like, can y'all come up with something else?
They remade The Color Purple. Y'all made another Emmett Till series. Y'all made another Malcolm X and the Martin Luther King series. Roots. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before they remaster Roots again.
They did. Oh, again.
Like
they already did.
They already did.
Like 2016.
Oh, they already remastered Roots.
Yeah.
Like there, as you can see, there's nothing new happening for real. There's nothing new happening. All of this stuff is just opening up old wounds, and they just keeping y'all mad about stuff that y'all had nothing to do with. Your parents didn't have nothing to do with. Why are we in Chicago worried about something that happened in Mississippi or Oklahoma or something like that? Like, make it make sense.
Because they're black.
And that's the problem.
Duh.
Because they got you thinking that all black people experience it when one black person experiences it. But you don't experience it when a black baby is killed. You don't experience it when a black person is killed by another black person, because who do you empathize with in that situation? The black person that killed him is a victim because he a victim of the system. But the black person that got killed is a victim of the victim. So it just cancels out. The only time you can feel some type of way is if it's somebody from another race doing it to a black person, because you know which side to pick. It's crazy.
As I sign a proclamation designating Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument in both Illinois and in Mississippi.
Oh.
At a time when there are
Whoopee.
those who seek to ban
What did he?
He
What
said
did
they're gonna put a monument here.
What did he do to get a monument?
He was a victim. But he's a martyr.
He's a martyr.
They
That's
gonna
exactly
make
what
a George Floyd monument in 2050. Just watch. So they already got monuments, but they gonna make an official one.
they tear down Thomas Jefferson. They're gonna put up George Floyd.
Illinois and in Mississippi. At a time when there are those who seek to ban books, bury history.
Hold on. Let's go over to the banned books section over here right quick and show y'all what books Mr. Biden's talking about.
Because they're not banning no history books. That's not what they're banning. They're lying to you. These are the types of books that they're banning. Bye binary. All that stuff that has nothing to do with no type of crucial information.
Nobody puts a baby in a pink or blue corner.
Those books are being banned. So when they go up there and talk about book banning, they want you to think they're banning history books. But the people that's quote unquote banning books are trying to ban these types of books.
A board book about gender expression and being true to oneself.
They're banning that.
This was in the kids section of the Chicago Public
It's in the
Library.
kids section. And the people that's crying racism are the people that's actually changing history, because they're tearing down monuments and trying to rewrite history. It's projection from the left. You got to see this, man. You got to. How can you sit there and think, oh, well, the Republicans are trying to change history, but you don't sit there and think, well, the Democrats destroying monuments and taking down statues of stuff, and literally teaching you false history in the Democrat-run schools.
We're making it clear, crystal clear, when that 14-year-old was buried, that in this Indian treaty room, there were this many people of color holding powerful office, changing the direction of the country.
Look at him smiling, bro.
What is wrong with
Look at him smiling.
Buried, that in this Indian treaty room, there were this many people of color
He's
holding
smiling.
powerful office, changing the direction of the country. Would have been beyond our comprehension. And we're just getting started.
That was creepy.
That was very creepy.
Why the hell did he just whisper like that? It just made my ears ring. He's creepy ass.
Oh man.
This old man is a creep, bro. Bye.
On what would have been Emmett Till's 82nd birthday, President Biden today establishing a new national monument to honor the teenager whose brutal murder in 1955 helped spark the civil rights movement.
Martyr. Joe Biden gave y'all Juneteenth, and he finna give y'all an Emmett Till monument.
Beautiful.
Call me Coon, call me Uncle Tom, call me whatever. But what did he actually do to warrant a monument?
He was a victim, Darrell.
What did he actually? It seems like he didn't listen to his mom, and he ultimately got killed for it. Wrongfully killed, yes, for sure. But he didn't do anything. He didn't build a school. He didn't build a youth center.
She lied about it. Remember the white lady?
Right? Yeah, the lady lied about it. She lied on him, and it was unfortunate. Well, so he didn't even do it.
Allegedly.
So he literally didn't do anything.
He just was murdered. Or something. But the thing is, why are we talking about that today?
It's irrelevant.
Set all that aside. Why are we talking about this in the year 2023, 2024?
It's irrelevant.
This was recorded?
The whole 71st Street in Chicago is literally Emmett Till Road. We need another
How much longer do we need to
monument.
talk about this? How much longer? This
Right.
seems that they want to keep y'all in 1955 indefinitely.
They have to. They're gonna keep y'all mad. So when it's time for you to go out and destroy stuff, it's at their discretion.
It's the story that's ignited fierce passions across the nation as allegations of racism and miscarriage of justice tear apart a small Florida town. 3 weeks ago, Trayvon Martin, an unarmed black teenager, was shot down by a white neighborhood watchman who claimed self-defense.
Trayvon Martin was not unarmed. That's a lie.
And has not at this point been arrested. And it's caused a public outcry that spread like wildfire.
The last image of Trayvon Martin was of him buying tea and candy. And minutes later, when George Zimmerman saw him, he was committing no crime. Many African Americans believe he was racially profiled.
Trayvon Martin's tragic death has exposed so many fault lines in American society. How we see ourselves, how we see each other, and how we in the news media cover sensitive stories like this one.
Trayvon Martin.
Shame on, Sanford PD. Trayvon Martin.
President Obama has made his own concerns very clear in very personal terms.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. All of us.
And what I think for parents of black boys, particularly in America, it's very personal.
You know, we didn't chase this story chased us. And so sometimes we tend to get a bit myopic in our newsrooms and, you know, we're sort of head down and crunching the biggest story. And this one, something that was, you know, so tragically but important, we missed initially. And so social networks stood up and they started to share the story across Twitter, across Facebook. And then people like you, me, Roland Martin, and others got those tweets and moved the story forward. But now it has hit a stride where it is near saturation. This is a long overdue conversation that we've got to have. But we've got to have it responsibly.
Right.
And we've got to encourage responsibility by our viewers, too.
And just the interesting...
What the hell is she talking about, bro?
We just have to keep talking about it, and we have to talk about it responsibly. And by the way, this is what pretty much started the BLM riot, or the BLM movement, this Trayvon Martin situation. So, it definitely sparked the conversation.
Yes.
About communism.
See, the thing is, they use people like Trayvon and the situations that happen with folks like that, and they empathize with it, black people specifically, because they know somebody that was exactly like Trayvon, somebody that was in gangs, you know, doing pretty much whatever they wanted to do, ain't got no father around, living with your aunt, everybody but your mom in some cases, and you just off doing whatever you want to do, skipping school, doing drugs, carrying guns, gangbanging with your friends and stuff. So this story...
Why are you saying all these things about him? Where are you getting this information from?
Research. Just look it up. Right. It's all researchable. It's all researchable. You know, instead of actually...
We're not just making this up.
Instead of just listening to the news, actually look into these people that they putting up on a high pedestal, because I thought we all agreed that the news lies. I thought we already knew that. I thought we knew that, right? Y'all was saying the news lied when it was black folks killing other black folks, and then they'll put up a picture of the nigga on Facebook holding a gun, and they'd be like, why they use that picture? They lying. As if the picture didn't already exist. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, you can empathize with Trayvon Martin because you know somebody like Trayvon Martin. You know somebody that was all out into the streets, and you're not really giving a fuck what they doing. But the second, you know, something happens to them, now all of a sudden it's an injustice.
Just by having it, please don't send me any more tweets by having this conversation that I'm a racist or I'm a race baiter. This is a conversation that we all need to have. So
he is a race baiter.
On that.
He's literally using his show to race bait.
Look at this. Look at this. Who is responsible for this image? Who made this and why?
And why is this on the news?
This image circulating on the internet is asking a profound question.
Really? And this is newsworthy. This is newsworthy.
These people finna have a field day with this AI. Just wait, because this is 2013 when they did this, bro. This AI stuff. If y'all think these people are living their imaginations before, their imaginations are about to become pure reality, and it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be able to tell the difference from AI and reality no more.
Cause what the hell is this?
It's already getting too good. Boy, if y'all seen my Facebook, and it's so much, we was kings, we was queens, we were gods, all that AI generated stuff. But like,
Is this not blackface?
Probably they made
I would
Zimmerman.
consider blackface if I was a commie.
They made Zimmerman
Would
dark.
things have been different if Trayvon Martin were white and George Zimmerman black?
Tomorrow, expect major demonstrations
But
across.
I thought George Zimmerman was Hispanic or something. He wasn't
He wasn't
white.
even white.
So I'm
He
trying
was
to figure
Hispanic.
out what they had to say he was white for the sake of that.
And you know, that's just so funny because the whole Black Lives Matter movement is the number one things is combating police brutality, but it was started after Trayvon Martin, which had nothing to do with the police, nothing to do with white people. It was a Hispanic guy shooting and killing a black guy. So
Who was beating his ass.
Right, he was
In
beating
4K. We've seen
Zimmerman's
the video.
ass. He was beating his ass. But they started a movement to combat police brutality, which had nothing to do with the initial case, and to combat white supremacy, which had nothing to do with the original case. But we coons for pointing that out. We're coons.
Yep.
Crazy.
Across the country, Diane.
Without warning today, President Obama decided to blow open the argument about race and bias in America.
Our black president is talking about race and bias in America. Our black president in a majority white country is talking about race and bias in America. You can't make this
decided
stuff
to
up,
blow
bro.
open the argument about race and bias in America, calling on the nation to do some soul searching. And 6 days after the verdict, getting personal and saying he could have been Trayvon Martin. Afterwards, people
So it went from being his son to being him. This nigga's a narcissist.
Oh my goodness.
What you mean that could have been you? Ain't you half black?
Bro, I can bet my life saving that Obama has never experienced discrimination in his life. Never. My man literally was an affirmative action all the way from the point that he got into politics. Even before he got into politics, he went to what, Harvard or Yale or something like that?
One of them schools.
He went to one of them Ivy League schools. What are you talking about race and discrimination for, bro?
across the country posted these images side by side.
Oh my God.
Oh my god.
Oh my
These
God.
people make me ill.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I wish I was Christ filled back when this was going on. I would have been cracking.
You know, crazy part is they actually do kind of look like him though. They actually
shut
do.
up, Darrell. You're feeding into that narrative.
Side.
Reporters scramble. The half-empty White House press room jolted by a rare surprise visit from the President of the United States.
You think anybody else is showing up?
After talking to his wife Michelle and calling senior staff into the Oval Office, the president decided late yesterday to speak from the heart today about the case of Trayvon Martin.
Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago. The African American community is looking at this issue through a set of experiences and a history that doesn't go away. There are very few African American men in this country.
Imagine the president talking about something that's never going to go away. He's literally the president. Imagine the most powerful man in the world telling you that it's just not gonna go away. It's gonna be here.
You niggas are doomed.
Y'all better suck it up.
Who haven't had the experience of being followed when they were shopping in a department store. That includes me. If a white...
That's cap.
Oh, boy, they know they follow you.
That's cap. Ain't nobody follow you around, bro.
Talking about.
Just lying. Well, just lying. See, they always talk about the consequences of their actions as if the consequences are their own separate, like they just started out of nowhere. You get followed around the store because you look suspicious.
Because niggas be stealing, that's why.
Yeah.
That's that.
Niggas be
Because
stealing.
niggas be stealing. And so it would make sense to say, hey, since niggas like to steal, let me keep an eye peeled when niggas walk in. I got accused of stealing out of a fucking Walgreens. You know why? And it was from a black security guard. Because niggas be stealing. I could have decided, hey, you're being racist towards me. Why would you accuse me of stealing? But I said, you know what? Niggas do be stealing. Let me just prove my innocence and keep it pushing.
That's all you got to do.
Because I don't have time to be trying to cause no scene. That doesn't make any sense.
But sitting here acting like you getting discriminated simply because you're black is just a lie. Because niggas steal. Somebody that stole. Somebody stole around you. I guarantee
Bro,
it.
somebody stole it from you.
So like,
I've been robbed by niggas.
Let's not play stupid.
White male teen was involved in the same kind of scenario, that from top to bottom, both the outcome and the aftermath might have been different. You
don't even know that, bro.
But this country is so racist. They allowed this guy to sit up here and do this.
Sit up there and lie.
I talk to Malia and Sasha, and I listen to their friends, and I see them interact. They're better than we are.
We are so happy to see so many of you with your hoodies on.
Ain't that guy?
The case has brought new attention to a Florida law that allows anyone to defend himself with deadly force.
He would have been 27 today.
Wait, what did he say?
Your hoodies on.
The case has brought new attention to a Florida law that allows anyone to defend himself with deadly force.
He would have been 20.
Oh, so now they finna try to take your stand your ground law.
Of course. And they gonna take
Now
it
you
down.
can't defend yourself.
It's communism 101. They gonna do it slowly but surely.
This is a young man just walking down the street. He wasn't arguing with George Zimmerman. He wasn't doing anything.
You had no reason. He wasn't doing anything.
That's just a lot.
Well, first off, he didn't live over there, so why was he over there? Second off, he was in their apartment complex. He was in their he was in between their houses.
Reason to follow him. You had no authority to do so. All of that stuff came together.
And the crazy thing is, they had the neighborhood watched because they was getting robbed and stuff.
Just walking down the street. He wasn't arguing with George Zimmerman. He wasn't doing anything.
You had no reason to follow him. You had no authority to do so. All of that stuff came together, and it struck a deep nerve in Black America.
The way. Look at this.
That stuff came together, and it struck a deep nerve.
If I was a betting man, or if I was doing stocks at the time, I would have invested in Arizona's and Skittles. I would have been rich by now.
Right,
look at this.
They got grip off this.
Right. Y'all made these
this
folks.
Nigga was buying candy and shit for his lean.
This is a
This
perfect
nigga's a
story.
drug addict.
Perfect story. Perfect story. The perception of it is completely different from the reality of it. It looked like he was just buying candy, but he was buying stuff to put in his drugs. It's crazy how that worked.
In Black America.
The way in which George Zimmerman has been able to get away with this is not justice for anyone.
Trayvon.
And the crazy part is, I used to think that George Zimmerman should have been put in jail. I used to be on the side of, Trayvon was a victim and stuff. I used to think that. I used to be like, man, why is Zimmerman not in jail? I used to agree with y'all. I used to. But then once you get faced with the facts, it's like, well, I was wrong. Just admit you wrong and do better. But y'all don't even want to admit y'all wrong. Y'all want to call names and stuff.
Emmett Till and Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh my goodness.
Black people doing ordinary things and being attacked for them and losing their lives for no good reason.
Trespassing is not an ordinary thing, sir. Well, according to your cousin, committing crimes is normal.
Right. Right. Committing crimes is
Everybody
normal,
does
so just let us do it.
Emmett Till and Ahmaud Arbery.
Look at this. They talk about this stuff as an epidemic. They picked up somebody from 70 years ago.
Black and white picture.
For anyone.
Trayvon
what was it, 2012 or something? Whenever this happened,
Emmett Till,
1950 something,
and Ahmaud Arbery.
And another random case. They put 3 completely unrelated cases together to make it seem like it's an epidemic. But because you black and they black, you automatically believe them. You automatically empathize with them in this race bait and stuff.
Black people doing ordinary things and being attacked for them and losing their lives for no good reason.
He was like the martyr for change in America.
He was a martyr.
Yeah, he was a martyr.
You're right about that one, Steve.
And the change is communism, because they destroying y'all private business and y'all private property.
And trying to take your guns.
And they trying to take your guns.
I think that we have had a movement. It's gone beyond a moment. And the consciousness of this nation
music
has been raised.
This is insulting.
Right, see, they got to put the Negro spirituals and stuff to make y'all feel what they. Yeah, you got to feel it. You got to feel it with your
Gone
soul.
beyond a moment. And the consciousness of this nation, I think, has been raised.
His death set the stage for Black Lives Matter and the modern social justice movement.
Communism.
Yep.
Communism. His death
That was
started communism in the U.S.
2012. It's
Reignited it.
2012, and it's 2024 right now. They've been having a good 12 years to destroy, loot, and do whatever the hell they wanted to do. They had 12 years.
And all it takes is for something slightly racial to happen. I remember I was at work one day, back when the Kyle Rittenhouse thing occurred, and he got off. And I remember my manager was literally telling us, "Oh, we might have to close early because they might start rioting because of what happened in the news." I'm like,
Yep. Because of something.
So we just have to stop what we're doing because of other people.
Yep.
Because of the news. So the news could stop our work productivity at work at any time.
Yep.
That's pretty scary.
One person can stop your whole day. That's the power of the news. And that's the power that they got over the black people. We had nothing to do with that, but we gotta fear us getting beat up and getting looted and rioted and shot and stuff because of something that happened in a whole nother city.
Might not even be able to leave because they might start mobbing the parking lot.
But Black Lives Matter. So they get mad at instance, and they destroy the business. They destroy the businesses of the oppressors. Meanwhile, putting us out of a job. We were working there. You destroyed the place that we work at, and now we don't have a job.
Stage for Black Lives Matter and the modern social justice movement.
There is growing outrage tonight after an unarmed African-American teenager was shot and killed by police in the St. Louis suburb of Ferguson, Missouri.
On the streets of Ferguson, Missouri.
Michael Brown was fighting with the cops. Reached for his
I remember
gun.
when this happened, I knew that the next day when I went to school, we were going to talk about it, and I was 100% right, because as soon as I got in school, we was talking about it all day.
Yep.
I knew it. I'm like, oh, we finna talk about this. Let me go ahead and get the details so I can know.
Yep.
Missouri, outrage and anger. No justice! No peace! Protesters of different ages and races demanding answers in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown at the hands of police. Races demanding answers in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown at the hands of a policeman.
They should have got a recent picture of him when he was 18.
Exactly. See what happens? You see how they just lied to you right then and there? See how they just lied to you? That is not an 18-year-old. That man looked like he had Chuck E. Cheese, bro.
He had 100% is a Chuck E. Cheese or a Chuck E. Cheese adjacent place.
They said 18, but they showed you 14 or 12 or however old this kid is.
Investigators said
Not a kid no more. 18 is an adult.
About noon Saturday, the officer, who hasn't been identified, encountered Brown and another man on the street in an apartment complex. There was a struggle, and one of the men pushed the officer into his car. Witnesses said Brown's body lay in the street for hours.
I'd like everybody here to appreciate.
What relevance does that have to the case? His body landing in the street for hours.
Notice how they just skimmed over the fact that a police officer got pushed.
Right.
That's something that shouldn't be happening. The struggle happened. That's not supposed to occur. That's not normal.
Oh, but they had to end it off with him landing in the street for hours. So ultimately, he ended up dead. So that's the most important part.
Witnesses
Period.
said Brown's body lay in the street for hours.
I'd like everybody here to appreciate that it took a very long time yesterday to process this scene.
The shooting sparked a furious reaction.
We
Police
are
responded
Michael
in
Brown.
force, brandishing assault rifles.
If this isn't a cult, I don't know what is,
Yep.
sir. We are Michael Brown. Why? Because he's black? Are we serious?
Yeah, and y'all say this and protest this, but then y'all, bitch, when you get profiled,
But you saying we all one, right? We're a monolith all of a sudden, right? Are we a monolith or not?
You can't have it both ways. You can't say we are Michael Brown, we are Black History, we are Emmett Till, but then complain about getting profiled. You can't have it both ways.
Give us the serenity to understand things.
Michael Brown graduated from high school earlier this spring and was to begin college next week.
That boy graduated high school.
Adult.
His mother, Leslie McSpadden, has a message for the officer who killed him.
You're not God. You don't decide when you gonna take somebody from her. If that was the case, I brought him her.
Where's his dad?
I should have took him from her. That was mine.
What?
Yep.
What?
Look, this narcissism. She said, I brought you in this world. I should have took him out.
Somebody from her. If that was the case, I brought him her. I should have took him from her. That was mine. That belonged to me.
That's it.
My body, my choice. So it seemed like she's not even that mad about him getting killed. She just mad that she didn't get to kill him because it's her baby.
Why would she say that?
Because that's how.
Imagine
that's how
dying and your mom saying, "I should have been the one to kill his ass, not y'all."
Right. Like,
What?
you can argue, what she may have been intended, but what did she say out her mouth? And, like, come
She
on
said,
now.
"You're not God, I am."
It's literally what she just said.
Here at the spot where Michael Brown was killed, hundreds.
Yeah, that's profound what you just said. Hold on, let's hear that again.
Officer who killed him.
You're not God. You don't decide when you gonna take somebody from her. If that was the case, I brought him her. I should have took him from her. That was mine.
She just implied that she's God.
You the one that brought up God, stink.
She said, "You're not God. You don't get to decide to take him out. If that's the case, I should have took him out because I brought him here," insinuating that she's God.
Belong to me.
Here at the spot where Michael Brown was killed, hundreds still gathering.
They playing
with calls
music?
for an even bigger rally tomorrow at the police station.
Bro, she got big. Bro, these people make me sick. They
With
out there
calls
having a
for an even
kickback.
bigger rally
Right.
tomorrow.
The baby got a pop in her hand. What is going on?
They're just standing around loitering.
What are y'all doing?
Loitering.
Holding up signs.
And the communists know that when you got gatherings like this, it's very easy to turn into a riot.
Easy.
Very easy. They're already in the streets. You just need something to happen. All of a sudden, it's destruction. It's all by design. All by design. And y'all being used. Every single one of these folks out there are being used.
Don't y'all got something
Tomorrow
to do?
at the police station.
No, they don't.
Where y'all jobs at?
Their job is welfare.
Despite the evidence laid out by the Department of Justice that Michael Brown's hands were not up when Officer Wilson shot and killed him, the Hands Up, Don't Shoot movement lives.
We know for
Right. So, hands up, don't shoot. That
It's a
statement
lie.
is a lie. But yet y'all still gonna say it.
I mean, they want to believe a lie, so they gonna believe it.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of things.
the fact that he's dead. Whether his hands were up or not, he's not here.
That guy look like Corey Kinchi.
He didn't have a weapon.
But the argument is that if he wasn't surrendering, then there's a justification, which is what the DOJ and the grand jury found.
To me, that's a repetitive tactic
To
that's
me.
been used
To me.
against black males when
there you
dealing
go.
with the police.
Is his name
for the
Tefco?
longest. You
Protester.
Bro, what's your real name? That's not
First
his name.
off, they didn't even put your job. They put protester. I'm assuming that you don't have a job because when they asked you what do you want to put, you said protester.
I'm surprised he ain't got it. Oh, this is before the mask.
Right.
I'm like, I'm surprised he ain't got a mask on.
Right. So you see my man, they said, well, he was resisting arrest, so that hands up don't shoot stuff is really irrelevant considering that he wasn't complying with the officer. Well, to me, that's just a tactic to deflect for black people. Like
black males.
Come on now.
Then there's a justification, which is what the DOJ and the grand jury
to
found.
me, that's a
He ain't let her finish
repetitive
the sentence.
tactic that's been used against black males when dealing with the police for the longest. You can root back to slavery with that.
Oh,
tactic.
there we go. There we go. Got to bring up slavery.
These niggas piss me off. Like, y'all, can y'all come up with something else?
When you ask a black person where they going, they tell you where they been.
To me, it's like slavery. What?
You see how he just had to do the mental gymnastics to make that make sense, and it still didn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make sense at all. But nobody's gonna question it. I am.
That man
what the
was
hell are you talking
that
about?
man was
Tefco?
resisting arrest, and then you said, "Well, yeah, they've been doing that since slavery." What?
You have to find a way to villainize the victim.
He didn't make a complete thought.
Repetitive tactic.
Justification, which is what the DOJ and the grand jury
to
found.
me, that's a repetitive tactic that's been used against
black males when dealing with the police for the longest. You can root back to slavery with that tactic.
I couldn't be a news reporter. I'd ask him, was he resisting or was he not? Simple as that. I don't care about you. I don't care about what you think should have happened or what you think about history, bro. I didn't ask you about slavery. We're talking about today, what happened with Michael Brown. You brought up slavery. That has nothing to do with nothing. You arguing that this is some type of tactic, but then you fail to explain what tactic that is.
Where you have to find a way. You can root back to slavery with that tactic, where you have to find a way to villainize the victim.
Hands up. So the tactic is to villainize the victim. How? By telling the truth.
How was he a victim?
He wasn't a victim. The nigga was fighting the officer. But then they go on and say this, but then when you look at the video of them tussling over the gun, oh, well, he shouldn't have shot him. Well, what are you talking about? If he would have got the gun first, he would have shot Michael Brown. I mean, Michael Brown would have shot the officer. Why are you tussling with an officer? Because niggas like you tell them that they need to fear the police and they need to play street attorney whenever they encounter the police.
Don't shoot.
Just today, a group of Ferguson protesters traveling to Selma still chanting the same mantra.
Right, so they come into your town to lie to you.
They're never gonna drop that. They're probably still using that, to be honest.
But we did notice one difference. This time, their signs read, "We can't stop now."
We shall. This nigga got a
He got a noose around his neck.
Is it Jussie Smollett?
See how they just got to get you emotional? You see this? You see how they just got to be emotional? The man got a noose around his neck.
I can't believe this. This feels like a joke. This feels like an episode of Boondocks. He got chain on too. Oh my God.
Come on now.
Who's granddaddy is it?
This time, their signs read, "We can't stop now."
And you got Commie News Network exposing y'all. It's that easy for them to expose y'all, making y'all look stupid on your own news network.
Sarah Seidner, CNN, Ferguson, Missouri.
Okay, a lot to cover. We've got some breaking news. Actor and musician Jussie Smollett from the hit show Empire was attacked and beaten early this morning in Chicago, and police say it could be a hate crime.
Horrific middle-of-the-night attack on Empire's Jussie Smollett.
Brutal attack in Chicago. Brutal beating.
A brutal attack.
Just as heinous as you might imagine. The horrific details.
Yeah, troubling details there, Brooke, when you think about this.
Choked with a rope and doused with a chemical.
This is horrible to report. This one is so hard to process.
It's a pretty disturbing incident.
Certainly, there are many indications of a hate crime here.
Danny, this is a horrible story. It gets worse. One of the offenders wrapped a rope around Smollett's neck.
Of course, you know, when this was happening, this was so funny because this is very polarized because it's either you knew he was completely lying or you full on believed this story. And a lot of people knew that it was BS. First off, who's walking around Chicago with a rope?
It was us. We did it.
They said it was two black men in Chicago with MAGA hats. First off, Chicago is a deep blue city. Deep blue. The average person ain't walking around with no MAGA hat. They was looking at us crazy for walking around with MAGA hats. Secondly, you got a MAGA hat and a rope, and you a black person. So why are you a black person walking around with a rope to hang another black person? Second off, the rope wasn't even long enough to actually hang him.
Third of all, why didn't they just hang his ass? They had the rope. I got the rope right here. They should have hung him.
They put the rope around his neck and beat him up and put some chemicals on and then left him there. But they made sure to wear the MAGA hat so they knew that there was a MAGA supporter, right?
This is MAGA country.
They said this is MAGA country in Chicago. Anybody that lives in Chicago know this is not MAGA country. Chicago is very much Obama city. Very much. Very much. It's just a lie through and through. Through and through. And I've been to the place that he was so-called assaulted at because I got some friends that used to live over there. When my celebrity homies come to the city, they be in that area, in that very commercialized area. Ain't nobody committing no crimes over there, bro. That is a lie. That is one of the safest spots to be. It's so far away from everything else. It's just a lie. It's just a lie.
Our thoughts and prayers
Shut
with
up,
Jussie.
Absolutely despicable.
And the circumstances are just horrific.
And this is America in 2019.
Now, the incident
incident happened just hours after Jussie landed in Chicago. He was hungry, so he went to grab something to eat when two unknown offenders approached him and grabbed his attention by yelling out racial and homophobic slurs. The offenders then went on to batter Jussie with their hands and poured an unknown chemical substance on him. During the attack, one of the offenders even wrapped a rope around Jussie's neck. The offenders then fled the scene and Jussie took himself to hospital. It's amazing to see everyone come together at this terrible time. Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, Zendaya and John Legend are just a few of the many people
Ooh, them folks is light-skinned, boy.
who have shared
They
their
like
support.
all of
Demi Lovato wrote, "This is honestly horrific. Thinking of you, Jussie Smollett. Get better and know that you have so many people loving you and supporting you through this difficult time and after." Kevin Hart wrote, "Sending prayers your way, Jussie Smollett. This is unbelievably sad. Why are we going backwards? This is disgusting. We as people have to do better. Is going on in the world. Why?" Ariana Grande wrote, "What happened to Jussie makes me really sick to my stomach. I can't believe like this is really still happening every day. What kind of world?"
Every day. Every day, she says.
Sending all of
Yeah,
the
there are
healing
hate crimes
energy,
going on, but not
love
towards
I
niggas.
possibly can, and hoping for change. What can we do? Tell me, and I'm there. Katy Perry wrote, "Standing with and sending love."
You know,
Everybody was virtue signaling.
You know what
This was
I
the
just thought
time.
about. So think about how they changed the perspective of history. Let's imagine 60 years down the line, and when white people are pretty much just a minority at this point, and the white folks just getting beat up by black people because of slavery or whatever. And you take this tweet out of context and say, "I can't believe something like this is happening," and walk the band, but they attribute it to the other way around. When they try to make it seem like it's a white person beating up a black person, they're gonna say this to where it's a black person beating up a white person. They're gonna flip the perspective and make it seem like they're talking about something completely different. And that's what they've been doing in history. They've been
What can we
switching
do?
it
Tell
around.
me, and I'm there. Katy Perry wrote, "Standing with and sending love to Jussie Smollett today. This is a racist hate crime and is disgusting and shameful to our country. Hashtag we love Jussie." Andy Cohen simply put, "This is vile." Zendaya said,
But none of these people would give a damn about the fact that we get called racial slurs on a regular basis. They would be concerned. All these people that care so much about racism wouldn't give a damn about no black conservatives. That's crazy.
Exactly.
"This is heartbreaking and terrifying. Please pay attention to what's happening here. Sending all my love to Jussie Smollett." Halle Berry wrote, "I've known Jussie since he was 10 years old, and a man of Jussie Smollett's talent, intellect, and kindness should be an undisputed blessing to our community. My heart is hurting knowing that he's suffering, and for what? Just for being." John Legend wrote, "Sending love to Jussie and the Smollett family after this horrific attack. We support you and pray that you find peace and justice."
It's been 2 weeks since that night left actor Jussie Smollett bruised but not broken, and he's still processing the.
And they
Lying. He
look
went
at
his butt off. Look
He-
at that. Look at that damn button he got on.
Come on now, this dude he's an actor. He's an actor. They so thirsty. They so thirsty for racism, for actual racism, that they're making it up. They're making it up. If it was really happening so much, why did you have to lie? Make it make sense.
The raw emotions.
President Trump commented on the incident for the first time.
I think that's horrible. It doesn't get worse.
We have a media that's
Look,
saying
remember that part where Trump commented on it, because they're gonna say he never said anything.
it's a debate whether or not what just happened to Jussie Smollett is a hate crime. It's absurd. This isn't a debate. The Vice President of America wishes I didn't have the love with my wife. He wanted to ban that in Indiana. He believes in conversion therapy. He is
Just made it about
How does this
herself.
have to do with gayness, bro?
Just made it about herself.
Then remember we said that they're gonna force blackness and gayness to be together. They're doing it right now.
He wanted to ban that in Indiana. He believes in conversion therapy. He has hurt LGBTQ people so badly as the government of Indiana, and I think the thing we need to know, and I hope my show Gaycation did this, in terms of connecting the dots, in terms of what happened the other day to Jussie. I don't know him personally. I send all of my love. Connect the dots. This is what happens. If you are in a position of power and you hate people and you want to cause suffering to them, you go through the trouble. You spend your career trying to cause suffering.
Oh, here comes the
What do you
tears.
think is going to happen? Kids
Who
are
the
going to
hell
be
is this?
abused
I'm
and they're going to
trying to figure
kill
out who this
themselves.
is.
And people are going to be beaten on the street.
But bitches like her hate people like us. That's the thing. All this is fake.
It's all
of
fake.
it is fake. Oh, like, we care so much about black people. We hate it. It's happening to them. Well, except y'all. Because y'all ain't black.
Yep.
Right. Just stop it.
I have traveled the world and I have met the most marginalized people you can meet.
Mm-hmm.
I am lucky to have this time and the privilege to say this. This needs to stop.
Powerful. Come on now, this is Hollywood, bro. This is Hollywood. It's all an act.
She couldn't even squeeze out a tear.
Yeah,
she couldn't even squeeze out a fake tear. She couldn't. She tried to. She couldn't. And
You're so
Support for
powerful.
Smollett exploding online from Hollywood A-listers to political heavyweights.
Senator Cory Booker called the attack a, quote, modern-day lynching.
There have been some comments amongst
modern day lynching. He wasn't even hung or killed. What the hell? They just throw that word around. Lynching means nothing. Racism means nothing. This is ridiculous. Bro, he didn't even get hung.
that's why it's a modern day lynching, like neo pronouns and all that.
But I
neo
thought,
shit.
wait, if that's a modern lynching, then how is police killing modern lynching? I thought that was modern day lynching.
It all is, Darrell.
Then what does it mean?
It means being mean to a black person.
Right.
Unless, of course, they're conservative.
Right,
that is all over the way.
right.
some kind of questioning whether or not the story of the attack is real, is reliable.
So they don't have any reason to believe that this could be a hoax.
What is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks.
What kind of words of encouragement did?
Hold on, can we go back to the virtue? Look at all the buttons he got.
Bro, first of all, he does not look like convincing at all. He's sitting there smiling. The attacks.
Is it that has you so
Look at how he says it.
angry?
He's smiling.
Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks.
What kind of words of encouragement did you give him?
I just told him to walk in his truth.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to?
Yeah, we got a good look at the buttons now. He took this time to virtue signal. Took this time to put all of this stuff together. You can't be transphobic and be black.
Heal. I don't know. I still want to believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice.
He's not even doing a good job by acting. That's the thing. He calls it. He's doing a horrible job. And look at him. He's smiling. He doesn't look like he almost experienced the lynching. This dude is sitting here smiling. Like,
right. If you
where's
really,
the tears? He's supposed to be broken down.
This is ridiculous.
Be hard against 45.
He's loving the attention.
He said, I went really hard against 45, aka Trump. So because he probably was saying all types of crazy stuff about MAGA. He's saying that's why he was victimized. So that they use this to basically make Trump supporters look like terrorists.
Yep.
This guy is the reason why people like us who decide to wear a MAGA hat get treated like pieces of shit.
Exactly.
They are looking for two suspects who were apparently wearing Make America Great Again hats.
And there is no doubt in your mind what motivated this attack.
I could only go off of their words.
Smollett told them his attackers also yelled MAGA country, Make America Great Again.
The president. Yeah. Good old Alice.
Of course he had to hop on this.
Oh man, look at this dude.
Or to come out and say, if his brand
civil rights activist.
Wait, go back to what he said.
Again.
The president ought to come out and say, if his brand does not represent these kind of alleged attacks, that he stands to say that his brand represents something else.
Okay, so
we saw what Trump
we
said,
saw that Trump condemned it, right? So the fact that he's gonna go out, that he goes out and says this, is just crazy because Trump condemned it. Trump said it was horrible or something. He said it was a terrible thing. But now these folks don't care. They're attacking his brand. They're attacking Make America Great Again. They're attacking the American flag. They're attacking everything American about this country.
But won't fucking leave.
His silence is deafening.
Silence.
I try to.
Silence is
He said
deafening.
something about it. We all remember what we just saw. Reverend Al Sharpton probably didn't even pay attention to it though.
No, he didn't.
Of course he did.
And
He's seen it. He just lying. He's
Put
lying.
myself in your shoes. A couple of things. You know, you went through a lot of public ridicule. Yeah, from the same people that loved you and uplifted you are the same folks that did not believe you. You know, there were a lot of folks who just to this day does not believe your story. How do you rectify that? How did you?
Why
I
didn't
don't.
take the headphones
Yeah.
off?
Because he had to pick up his lies.
The way that it
Right.
was served to everybody, I absolutely understand why people felt betrayed. You know, and I put that in my song "Thank You God," where I was.
Oh, now he got music out now. This is a grift. This is grifting.
I mean,
Just
of
like,
course it is.
I really overstand the
He
reason why I felt
lied.
betrayed. Whatever they thought. For whatever reason, I genuinely thought that people were
Wait,
going to
pause.
be like.
So I don't know if you saw. I had to look up that tattoo he has on his arm, that equal sign tattoo. I looked up what that means.
Whatever
'Cause I've seen it before. I couldn't
thank
remember what
you,
it
God.
means. It means the equal sign
Oh.
tattoo.
Let me show the equal sign. You see it down there?
The equal sign tattoo is a symbol of equality and social justice.
Nice.
So this guy is just an all around commie. They
around.
got the perfect commie in this. They hire him.
Where I was just like, I really overstand the reason why y'all felt betrayed. Whatever they thought. For whatever reason, I genuinely thought that people were going to be like, there's no way that he did some bullshit like that. You know? I'm just like, y'all know me. Like, y'all know that. And I'm thinking, oh, well, people's history should mean something. But I don't mind. I don't hold the people to anything that stepped back. I hold the people that went out there and said shit. I hold them to something. And not the people that don't know me.
Yeah.
But the people that do know me, fuck out of here. Y'all know better than that.
Yeah.
And y'all did that. That was some PR bullshit. And you know who you are. And I will not name names, and I love everybody, but I don't like everybody.
But he don't.
I was
he
so
don't love
angry and so
people.
offended that I had to go on national television and explain something that happened to me.
Wow.
I mean,
this dude
'cause
is
you
a
lied.
Pathological liar. I can't believe that he just sat up and lied. His nigga, and he probably is he even in jail?
No, they just fined him. He should have went to jail.
Oh, this dude should got
As
the
an
electric
openly
chair.
gay,
Don't using police resources like that. Ain't that a crime when you lie? Ain't that a
He
crime?
lied his ass off.
My
Like,
boy
he
was
sat here
lying
and
for
lied
weeks,
for a
months.
long time on
black
multiple
man
platforms.
who leads with his blackness.
Oh.
I found as an openly gay black man who leads with his blackness. I found myself dealing with that. I wanted to represent all of us that had been assaulted based on who we are. And so I was trying so hard.
Who's getting assaulted based on who they are?
MAGA people.
Who?
Conservatives.
Who?
Conservatives.
White
Christians.
people are being assaulted just on being white.
Hard to like the posturing of he hit me and then I hit his ass back. And I was just like, oh my God, nigga, what are you doing? You look ridiculous. But everything that I said was the honest to God truth.
Wow.
Jussie Smollett hasn't been convicted yet. He hasn't gone to trial. And now to say that, yes, he's guilty of this, the way everybody say, I've never seen anything like it, this kind of rush to judgment on in such a short period of time.
I feel
Oh, now it's rush judgment. But y'all believed him when he said it, but now it's rush judgment to say that he lied.
like, there was a member of the United States government who had a stockpile of weapons that was ready to attack, some of our colleagues and people we know and people on Capitol Hill. And here we are talking about Jussie Smollett. I know there were people who thought the story sounded strange when it first happened, despite all this, public declarations of support.
Look at these.
First off, she said, hold on, listen to what she said.
Sounded strange when Capitol Hill, and here we are talking about Jussie Smollett. I know there were people who thought the story sounded strange when it first happened, despite all this, public declarations of support.
So because she said the people thought it was a strange story, despite all the public whatever she just said. So not actual evidence of it happening, but because people said and everybody supported this lie, that is enough to deter you from asking questions.
Democracy.
And people are asking politicians about it. And
Wait. Tell you that this lady in the middle looks crazy.
Yeah, she got them
Something
eyes.
about her, I can tell she's just crazy calm.
Got them
Freak
eyes.
me out.
It feels a little bit misguided at this point that it has all of our attention. I think, it almost feels like this pendulum to swing, like, oh, we're so sorry, MAGA supporters, that, we falsely identified these people. And, there are a lot of evidence of violent incidents that happen at these MAGA rallies, and I just don't want
No, it's not.
She's lying.
She's lying. Just lying. You think that
sounds
there's
straight up.
violence at the MAGA rallies? If there's violence at a MAGA rally, they're kicking out somebody that clearly is not a supporter. They're trying to go in there and start problems, like that dude when Trump kicked him out. Oh, this is what one of the viral clips they was cooking Trump about when somebody went in there and they tried to cause a ruckus in there and they kicked him out, and Trump was like, get him out of there. If this is good old days, we would have did X, Y, and Z to him. You remember that? They used one of them. They used one of them clips, and they was like, "Oh, Trump said the good old days. What is he talking about?" And he didn't even kick out a black man. It wasn't even a black man, but they took that out of context.
to get, have Jussie Smollett distract from that. I mean, a few weeks ago, a cameraman was attacked at a BBC rally support. In 2016, remember the older white gentleman punched the young black kid who was there protesting. They had to call off a MAGA rally in Chicago. And so when we have all of this attention on Jussie Smollett,
they called off what MAGA rally was called off in Chicago, because I remember Trump was supposed to come here and people literally were mobbing to the point where he didn't come.
Yeah.
So they just threw that in there.
They just finna set the city on fire.
And I want to know what you're talking about an old white man punching a black guy or a 16-year-old black man or whatever the fuck she just said. I need to know
MAGA
about
rally
that.
in Chicago. And so when we have all of this attention, 2016, remember the older white gentleman punched the young black kid who was there protesting. They had to call off a MAGA rally in Chicago. And so when we have all of this attention on Jussie Smollett, it almost feels like there's this effort to extend this mea culpa to people who are in fact saying very deplorable and ugly things.
Your stint behind bars, how did you make it through that?
A
What was
78-year-old man apparently sucker punched a protester at a campaign rally. Sounds justified. Probably was Antifa.
saving grace?
God. But yeah, I was there.
He talking about God. You're gay. You don't believe in God, bro.
He's lying. He doesn't believe in God. Every time he lies, God is getting badder and badder, bro.
Make it through
This
that.
man's
What
not
was
gonna have
your
a good life. He gotta
saving
repent.
grace?
God. But yeah, I was there in 6.5 days, and it was.
You don't know or love God. God said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And homosexuality is an abomination to the Lord.
So is lying your ass off.
So this it's just ridiculous.
Part of me when I was coming out, when they told me that I was coming out, I was so grateful and so glad to get out. There's something about being in there and having no choice but to surrender. Surrender not to the system, not to a judge or a bunch of old white men ironically explaining to you about the history of hate crimes and lynching.
Yeah, and they're telling you that what you experience is not a hate crime. What you experience is a lie and delusion.
And you're sitting there and being like, what? Who the fuck are you? I believe that the prison system needs to be dismantled. You have to be
Now the prison system. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? You went from you experiencing a hate crime, and them telling you, yeah, bro, you didn't experience a hate crime. Now the prison system needs to be dismantled. You haven't even seen the prison system.
Of course, he wants us to be dismantled because he's lying his ass off and he knows he is. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
gonna literally commit perjury in front of the court.
Right. So
he doesn't want to go to jail for it. Duh.
Right. He wanted it to be dismantled before he get there, because his ass is on the road there. Clearly.
a different kind of person to really search and try to find the redemption in this. That place is not meant for redemption.
Yeah.
That place is not meant to make you come out better than when you went in. And the prison system needs to be dismantled.
Wow.
Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
Well, I can tell you exactly
work?
why. Because it works.
Because you niggas fell for it.
It works.
You niggas eat that shit
It
up.
worked every single time. It worked in the Trayvon Martin case. It worked in the Mike Brown case. It worked.
Every martyr that y'all done made for Black Lives Matter worked. So why would Jussie Smollett try it out? And it works. It works. He had all these people co-signing
Bro.
virtue saying on TV, crying and
Dude,
shit.
do you know how fast we could go viral if we went to a protest? Let's say something happened and a nigga get killed by the cops, which if he got killed by the cops, he probably was supposed to get killed by the cops because they're not just out here killing black folks. If he get killed by the cops and then we like, oh, let's go get the news, and then we walk out there and protest with y'all, we would be an internet sensation because y'all love seeing it. Y'all love seeing it. It works. It works. That's how controlled y'all are. Y'all love seeing it. That's why he put the noose on the neck, because he know putting a noose on his neck is going to trigger y'all to responding without thinking.
A juror who convicted actor Jussie Smollett for making up his story about being attacked.
Not the head scratch.
A juror who convicted actor Jussie Smollett for making up his story about being attacked on the streets of Chicago is speaking out today. He was actually the lone black juror on the case.
I was shocked. I was completely shocked that I was even picked. At that point, I took it very seriously.
He says he was disappointed to see he was the only black person on the panel.
How can we say that this is a jury of your peers when there's only one African American? And there were plenty there. So you could have got 2, 3, 4 African Americans can handle the truth too, and we can give an impartial judgment on a case.
No, they
He's
can't.
still left with one.
No. Not on another black man. No.
And you know it.
You know if that would have been
Because
a jury
why
of
does it
black.
matter? Why does it
Exactly.
matter if it doesn't make a difference? Because it makes a difference.
Lingering mystery.
I still have not figured out a motive to why this had to even happen. He was
for clout. He did it for clout. That's the motive. He's an actor. He's used to having attention. He's doing it for clout.
a star.
Smollett is awaiting his sentencing. He could face up to 15 years in prison, but the juror says he hopes Smollett only gets probation and that Hollywood gives him a second chance.
In Minneapolis tonight, tensions are high as 4 police officers have been fired after a man was pinned to the ground and died. The incident was caught on camera.
The bystander's cell phone video begins with police restraining a man on a Minneapolis street Monday night. An officer is pinning the man face down by pressing his knee into the man's neck.
He's, bro, as you can see with your eyeballs, he's not face down. Y'all know what face down means? Face down means face to the ground. You can see his face. So he's not face down. They're lying to your face.
If you can yell out, "I can't breathe,"
You're not face down.
You're not suffocating.
Down by pressing his knee into the man's neck. For at least 3 minutes on the video, the man pleads for help, saying he couldn't breathe at least a dozen times.
Right. You can't breathe, but you said I can't breathe a dozen times. You have enough breath to say 12 times you can't breathe.
I guess you can breathe good enough to get your words out.
Right,
I mean, somebody who
seems
can't
like-
breathe can't talk.
Exactly. Seems like you can breathe pretty well to me.
The man, identified as George Floyd.
That pink,
This picture's infamous, boy.
bro, they got the worst picture of him.
This
Bob.
picture is infamous.
They couldn't find no decent picture of him. It looked like the one picture he had on Facebook.
By the lawyer representing his family, was later pronounced dead at the hospital. The case is already drawing comparisons to the
police called
24
him in the first place. Notice how that's not getting called out.
No, they never talk about the consequences. They just talk about the repercussions of what's going
The
on.
cause.
They always talk about, look at these folks with the knee on the neck.
Death of Eric Gardner in New York, who died after police placed him in a chokehold.
It's like a reoccurring nightmare. And this has to stop. Something has to be done.
In Minneapolis,
Maybe they should
protesters
follow
are
directions.
demanding the now former officers involved be arrested. Today, the mayor called it wrong at
Wait,
every
go back. Call me, son. I didn't even, oh my God, I know I didn't see a sickle.
Whoa! The communist sign.
They showing this on the news.
This is on the news. Good eye. Oh.
You cannot make this shit up. You can't. Whose grandma is this? Who gave Granny that?
Oh my goodness.
Officers involved be arrested. Today, the mayor called it wrong at every level.
It prompted an investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department, the use of force and other tactics by officers going back a decade. The analysis of police reports, interviews, and nearly 700 hours of body camera footage showed what investigators say were wide disparities between the treatment of people of colour and white individuals.
Lest we
It
forget
revealed
that
that
all
while
this was going
African
on during the
Americans make up
pandemic. That's why
only 19% of the city's
I could have sworn we
population,
couldn't go outside, but I guess it's okay to
the
protest.
news literally said, "Don't go outside unless it's to protest." They literally said that.
they represented 54% of all traffic stops over a 3-year period. And between
This is BBC. They over there in London talking about this shit.
54% of traffic stop citations issued to black individuals. So if you're getting stopped in a traffic stop, you had to do something to get stopped, number one. Two, if you just be cool, they probably won't even give you a ticket for it. But because y'all like playing street attorney, you're going to get that citation. And then if you don't get the citation, you're probably going to try to play street vigilante, end up getting...
The fact they even bringing this up, like, what is y'all point?
It's
Trying to
no
say
point.
the police are racist, right? Okay.
between 2010 and 2020,
So dismantle the police.
2/3 of all citations for disorderly conduct and obstruction went to people who were black.
The Minnesota Department of Human Rights finds that the city and Minneapolis Police Department engaged in a pattern or practice of race discrimination in violation of the Minnesota Human Rights Act.
The report blames a paramilitary approach to policing and a culture that's ineffective at holding officers accountable for misconduct.
I found the contents to be repugnant, at times horrific. They made me sick to my stomach and outraged, and I think that our community
He talks just like Brandon Johnson. Like, they got the exact same commie cadence. Like, just the way they talk is so jarring. Like, they all talk like that.
They made me sick to my stomach and outraged, and I think
like they say in a
that
poem or
our
something.
community feels the same way.
The findings, the mayor said,
"Oh my goodness,
Bro, I need to go to Minneapolis.
that
and
mural
check it
looks
out.
scary, bro."
Right? It looks
did
horrible.
not come as a surprise to the city's black community. They'd known about police misconduct for decades, for
What are y'all doing?
generations. The report
They
calls
worship
for
this guy. Why are all y'all knees and shit?
police
Grown-ass
misconduct for
man.
decades.
Get up.
That's worship. This is
Stand
worship.
up.
This is worship.
I wonder if all
For
that's still out there.
generations. The report calls for significant reforms, starting with officers' training and disciplinary systems. Others say only a complete shift in police.
Wow.
Look at this lady's. Look at her top.
Power to the people.
She got a
Communists.
I Can't Breathe headband on. Look at her. She's got can't on. I bet that's I Can't Breathe. She got
Power
the
to the people.
commie earrings, the commie
You got
mask.
the Black Lives Matter.
Jesus Christ. And she got a
Culture
commie sign.
will begin to address the
Y'all
problem.
walking around with masks on, talking about "I can't breathe."
Peter Bowes, BBC News.
What we've seen over the last 2 days and the emotion-ridden conflict over last night is the result
Why are you breathing like
of
that?
so much built-up anger and sadness. Anger.
Right. So you're giving him an excuse to destroy the city.
I'm mad. Time to go steal some shit. Well, I think I'm gonna get
and
mad.
sadness that has been ingrained in our black community, not just because of 5 minutes of horror, but 400 years. If you're feeling that sadness and that anger, it's not only understandable, it's right.
Right.
It's a reflection
This is
of
the
the
funniest
truth
thing I
that
ever
our
seen in my
black
life.
community has lived.
This guy sat here and fake cried for
While
too
not
long.
from lived experience, that sadness
white guilt
must
is
also
bleeding out of
be
this guy.
understood
Is
by
that a gold casket?
Guess they had this guy in a golden casket. They literally worship this man.
our non-black
And
communities.
this man's on his knees crying.
To
With the
ignore
mask
it
on. Look at the black people
toss
standing
it
over this
out
white man. Yeah, you better cry.
would be to
Crack it.
ignore the values we all claim to have.
And the thing is,
I believe in Minneapolis.
it'll still be some black people who say that he just didn't do enough. He should have been on both his knees.
He should have been kissing the ground if the casket was over. A gold casket is crazy.
You can't make this up, bro.
Crazy.
I love Minneapolis. Our communities need assets, especially during a pandemic. Our communities need grocery stores for food.
Yeah, and
We
y'all
need
looted
banks
them.
for cash.
I worked at a grocery store in 2020 when they had the George Floyd riots. The store was closed because niggas came and looted it.
We worked at
The
a
grocery store was closed because niggas came and looted the plaza where the store was. They came and looted the store. They came and broke shit. So while he's talking about, oh, we need stores we had stores. Niggas came and looted it out in the name of George Floyd. I guess that was justified.
Yep.
Because they were
We need
angry.
pharmacies for needed medication.
Again.
Let's hold.
There was a pharmacy inside of the grocery store we worked at. Also closed. Why? Because niggas looted it.
Cash. We need pharmacies for needed medication. Let's hold these communities dear.
No. Hold these communities accountable.
Dear, he says.
Hold them
I
accountable.
can't believe he's still on the ground doing this.
Doing
I
right
haven't
by
seen it in these years.
them and by safeguarding them and these community assets that we know they need, especially during
Bro,
a
that
pandemic.
was so fake. He was not crying. I
it's
refuse.
pathetic.
Where the tissue at? If you cry, you need to be blowing your
This is
nose. You need your
pathetic,
eyes
bro.
to be. You should see the tears falling. Bro, this is all fake. He just got up and walked away.
We need to offer radical love and compassion that we all have in us.
Radical love.
I believe in this city, and I know that you do too.
Right. But one made mainstream news and the other.
This is the guy right here, Chad. This the man right here. Oh.
Chad, can you become my new dad?
Yeah, this the man right here, Chad. So, yeah.
Did not.
It's the same thing with George Floyd, and you probably familiar with Tony Temple.
Oh my
Tony Temple.
God, Tony
Yeah,
Temple.
and that's
Yo,
same pretty
Tony
much.
Temple was so much worse than
It was
if
way
anybody watched that
worse.
Tony Temple video.
They were
Tony
laughing
Temple
at him.
was so much worse than
Laughing at
yeah.
him.
White guy.
It
I
was
was
so
like, dang, but
much worse.
it didn't get the
that
same-
Tony Temple video pissed me off. Like it was not.
Yeah.
That's yo.
They didn't get the same media coverage. Were they
Even-
covering that in Dallas at
Couldn't
the
even-
time?
No.
Chad? That's crazy. That's crazy.
We tried to
That is
push that
crazy.
like crazy in Cali, and still in Cali, it didn't even get picked up, and it happened in Cali.
Well, it's a mystery that they didn't, because the thing is, I hear a lot of conservatives, and I take their point, but I hear a lot of conservatives make a point to say, like, look, for every example of a police encounter that you had between a white police officer and a black man, you had the same, if not worse, encounters happen between white police officers and white men. My take on that, and it's a take that I haven't really fleshed out very much, but my take on that is that's exactly the argument that they want the conservatives to make.
Yes.
Right.
Simply because their whole point is to defund the police altogether. And so
Yes.
it's like they're making racism the issue
Yes.
only for us to come along and say, well, look, the police also did this to this white person. So they can say, okay, aha, so the police are the issue.
Yes.
They're not only going after
It's a
black
bigger
folks, they're also
issue.
going after everybody. It's a bigger issue of policing
Yes.
in general.
Right.
So let's
Sorry.
work together in a bipartisan way
Sorry.
to try
Yes.
to reform or defund the police.
We can get rid of all the crime in
Oh, this
America
video
overnight,
again.
just like that. And people ask how, Attorney Crump, change the definition of crime. Of course. If you get to define what
Grown-ass man.
conduct is going to be made criminal, you can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence
No,
is
the
criminal.
Not to zoom in on his face.
You can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence
No,
is
the coach.
criminal.
But
That's-
they made the laws. They make the law to criminalize our.
No, they had to silence him up real quick. No. They made the laws that way.
Is going to be made criminal. You can predict who the criminal is going to be.
It sounds like we're criminal, though.
Yeah.
Our existence
No,
is
the coach.
criminal.
But
That's-
they made the laws that way.
They stopped him quickly. No, they stopped him quickly.
What concerns me most is that we're not at the place where we need to be, both in terms of our criminal justice system. Race still is too large a factor there. Decisions are made with racial backgrounds. And that we as a nation are not yet at the place where we need to be. Back in 2009, I gave a Black History speech where I said that we were a nation of cowards.
We, average
It looks
Americans,
exactly the same.
simply do not talk enough with each other about things racial.
I understand our reluctance to do that. It's a painful subject. It's one that it divides us.
Here comes the black and white
We've got to
again.
have the strength. We've got to have the courage to talk about things racial if we want to make
Look
racial
at
progress.
are those? Wait a minute. Those fraternities?
Yes.
The Divine
Courage
Nine
to talk.
fraternities. Imagine being a part of a fraternity and, come on guys, we finna go riot. I'm not really into that. Oh well, you better be, or you gonna get your letters revoked.
Yep.
about things racial if we want to make racial progress.
You knew that it was a historical moment. And I knew we had won in the court of public opinion.
After your strategy, the next number is organization. After your organization, the next one is themes and appeals that you're going to use with the publics upon whom your success depends. And there, your research will tell you what their attitudes are towards your goal, what their ignorance is, the people who can determine it, what their apathies are, what their prejudices are. You develop your themes and appeals, and then your next step is the timing and planning of your tactics. You can start with an important event.
Wow, that was a lot.
Wowie.
That was a lot. Holy crap. Holy crap. If y'all enjoyed this clip, you know, this little montage, Chad Jackson on YouTube and Cutting Through the Culture. Good people. He was in that second to last clip you saw, or third to last clip, and talking to those folks over there. But yeah, so the media, it's, as you can see, it's the same tactic of just using stuff that happened 70, 80 years ago and comparing it to what's happening now, even though it has nothing to do with what's happening now. And the only relevance that the past have today is that niggas is thinking about the past when in the way that they act today. They're thinking about Emmett Till when they get stopped by the police. They're thinking about Michael Brown when they get stopped by the police. That's what's happening. They're thinking that, oh, it's finna be me today. You know, and that type of mentality is cancer to everybody around you, because all it's going to do is just make the police job hard, make you potentially lose your life, and you're going to eventually become a martyr. But that's ultimately what the communists, that's what they want. They want you to be a martyr. And now the communists got it so good that you're making yourself a martyr. What they would do, they would kill you after you get done doing the work, but now you're killing yourself. Death by cop, and now you're a martyr.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
At least you'll be able to be like a sign and stuff. You'll get like a mural made out of you or something. Or your family might get rich, and you'll have a golden casket.
Yep. I mean, if you do it right.
Right.
You gotta commit the most heinous crime and really be the most relatable person, and then act the ass when the police get up with you.
Do it right.
You gotta do it right if you're gonna be a martyr.
Don't waste your time though. You only die once.
Right, you gotta make it look good. Ridiculous. Oh man.
LOL.
But you know, that's all we got for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for the 1,000 subs. Now we're trying to get to 2,000 and 3,004, but we got to go one step at a time, one sub at a time. Please go on over to her page as well, Locked In with Zaza. We'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.